So this is still a thing? Keep 10 fragrances. We're still doing that? Okay. Hey friends, Ash here with gentsscents. Hope you're doing really well. Today I'm gonna be going over with you guys my 10 fragrances that I would keep for life, spring edition, 2021 edition. It's very unique, this idea, keep 10 for life. It's never been done before, ever. I'm the first one to come up with this. Thank you very much. That was sarcasm, just in case you didn't catch on. This is really kind of just a reason to do another spring top 10, right? I mean, the idea behind it's a little bit different. These are supposed to be the 10 fragrances I would keep, and then I would, I guess, trash the rest of mine. If for some reason I had really destructive tendencies and I was like, you know, I'm gonna keep 10 of these and smash everything else, I guess these are the 10 I would keep. Though it does depend on when you catch me. This is my 10 as of today. Tomorrow you could ask me and I could be like, well, I thought about it and take that one out, replace it with this one. You know how it is. Really depends on my mood. And I'm sure that's the same for all of you guys. But we're gonna give it a go. So let's jump into this. Keep 10 spring fragrances for life. So these are fragrances I really like for one reason or another, doing like my, what is that, my spring top 10 fragrance list dance? I don't know, that's horrible. Let's go ahead and jump into this with a really obvious one. Let's get it right out of the way. Green Irish Tweed from Creed. This one's got lemon verbena, mint, ambergris, sandalwood, and violet leaves as some of the notes in the fragrance. Really clean, really fresh, very uplifting, sophisticated. This one you can easily wear formally or casually, either one. And even though this came out in the 80s and it's decades old, it is still, at least for me, a compliment magnet. And even though cool water has its place and is a killer fragrance for lots of guys out there, it will never, ever, 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 ever supplant this one. I love you, Green Irish Tweed, forever. So that's the first one, really obvious. The next one is from Yves Saint Laurent, and it is L'Homme Ultime. This one I fell in love with the first time I smelled it. In my opinion, one of the best L'Homme or L'Homme Ultime flankers that has ever been made, and still to this day, pretty much, I kind of spanked it there, that was weird, still flies right under the radar. This one has ginger, grapefruit, rose, and cedar wood as some of the notes in the fragrance, and this one is really all about the opening in the mid. It smells awesome. The ginger and the grapefruit really brisk in the opening, sparkling, effervescent, sweet. The rose comes through initially at the tail end of the opening, beginning of the mid, and that is fantastic as well. Really, really fresh in this one. The dry down is a little bit plainer, a little bit more run of the mill, but the opening in the mid smells so good, I don't really care. Next up, one from Bond number 9, Bleecker Street. This is my all-time favorite Bond number 9, and really there's not a whole lot of Bond number 9s that are that great as far as the cost versus what you're getting. But Bleecker Street for me has always been one of the top of the tops as far as this house goes. Well, I guess actually just the top. It's got violet leaf, blueberry, oak moss, and suede as some of the notes in the fragrance. And it does have a similarity to Ralph Lauren's Purple Label, which is cheaper than this at full retail. So if you want something similar to this, you can get Purple Label, and it's gonna get you pretty close. When you first spray this one on, it's really green and grassy. And it actually smells a little bit like a lawn to an extent, but in a really good way. And then you've got blueberry that comes in, gives it this interesting sweetness that you don't get all that often. You get oak moss and leather, well, suede more specifically as it dries down, which even has a little bit of an earthy tinge. Love, love, love Bleecker Street. Bond number 9, Bleecker Street. Whee. All right, next up, we got this one right here, Acqua di Gio Profundo from Giorgio Armani. Now, if you've watched this channel for a while, I have talked numerous times about Acqua di Gio, the original. I wore it like crazy when I was younger. The original, just all the time. It was my signature scent. I kind of wore it out, if I'm honest with you. And Profumo, I liked it, but I didn't really wear it a whole heck of a lot. Now Profundo is a little bit more in my wheelhouse. It's got Aqua Zone, which is a great name for a note, Aqua Zone, so aquatic notes. It's got bergamot, some mineralic notes in here as well, rosemary, cypress. This one takes that original Acqua di Gio DNA basically and modernizes it. Gives it this little green touch. Again, that cypress, the rosemary, and that mineralic vibe that this one has. Mineralic, is that even a word? Mineralic vibe that Profundo has. And I love it. It smells great. Huge compliment puller, just like basically every Acqua di Gio that's ever been made, ever. Which is also why everybody and their mother has this one and wears this one. Well, maybe not this one specifically, but this Acqua di Gio. So this one, those green touches, I love, 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 love it. Like a lot what they've done with this one. Looking forward to the flanker, Profundo Lights that's been announced, but haven't checked that one out yet. This one though, very solid. You can use it just about anywhere. Next up, Gentleman Cologne from Givenchy. And this one has that iris that this line is really well known for, done up in a really refreshing, clean way, and to me smells a little bit watery as well. You've also got bergamot in here along with that iris and lemon, so citrus combo right off the top. A good dose of ambroxan in the base here, giving it a nice modern finish. This one, fantastic in just about any situation when it's gonna be high heat. This one is office safe, easily worn casually. You could wear this in a more formal situation as well. It is a gentleman fragrance after all, so hey. And this line I really, really like. Gentleman Eau de Parfum, very solid. Gentleman Cologne, great as well. Kind of like the opposite of the Valentino Uomo line. This line gets better as time goes, whereas the Valentino Uomo line gets worse. I just wanted to throw that in there, kind of take a shot at Valentino for no reason other than I'm petty. Next up, Diptyque Philosykos. This, one of the better fig fragrances that you're gonna find, and actually Diptyque, as far as niche fragrance houses go, is just a fantastic value. These fragrances are not that expensive as far as niche goes, and the quality is great, and I love the packaging too. A lot of the fragrances have eau de parfum versions and eau de toilette versions. This is the eau de toilette version. The eau de parfum has a black border around the bottle and is slightly smaller in size. This one's got green notes, it has some woods in the base, it's got coconut and a whole bunch of fig. Yeah, it's got fig leaf, I believe fig tree, and just straight up fig. So, like I said when I introduced this one, it's all about the fig. And if you love fig type scents and you've never smelled this one for any reason, you should absolutely check it out. It is firmly unisex. Men can pull this off, women can pull this off. My bottle is nearly empty. Can you see that? Look at that. This one is fantastic during the daytime in spring. It is amazing with that green facet that this one has and all of that fig and that kind of coconutty sweetness that it has as well. Really good. Next up from Hermes, Terre d'Hermes Eau Fraîche. This was the #1 designer fragrance in my spring top 10 for this year. It's got citrus, watery notes, woods, and geranium. This one takes that Terre d'Hermes DNA, cleans it up a lot, actually. It takes pretty much all of that earthiness, that flint feeling that you have from the original Terre d'Hermes and says, get out of here, I don't want you here anymore. You're not welcome in this house. Which was maybe a little bit rude, but they wanted to take that Terre d'Hermes DNA and make it better for warm weather, better for spring, better for summer. And that's what this is. That water basically came into the fragrance, the aquatic note, and just washed away the earthiness. And so you're left with a fragrance that does have this nice citric blast on the opening, and it's not done in an overly sweet way. So you don't have this heavy-handed sweetness. You've got these nice woods that provide a masculine base that is a little bit sophisticated, a little bit refined as the fragrance dries down, making this one suitable for pretty much any occasion ever. That's what I said about this one, Acqua di Gio Profundo, and absolutely it is. But this, you could pull off in any situation you would wear this. It's just this one might have you smelling a little bit more grown up. Next up, a fragrance from Mancera. Not had this one too long. Vetiver, Sensuel. Did that creep you out? Hope it did. It's got citrus, vetiver, woods, mint, and pepper, some of the notes in the fragrance. And if you've watched this channel for a while, you know I really like vetiver-based fragrances because vetiver can come across a whole bunch of different ways. You can come across grassy, smoky, earthy, clean, fresh, green, whatever. You get it. Vetiver can come across a whole bunch of ways. In here, you're dealing with the vetiver that is more on the clean side. Easy to wear. It does have this nice green facet to it. It's got a little tiny touch of that dry grassiness to it, but it is not at all overwhelming. What that means is that it is extremely versatile. The citrus in here, along with the mint, gives it this really nice pop, this freshness, this brightness as soon as you spray it on. As it dries down, you get more of the woods melding with the vetiver, and this one is just perfect for springtime, and like a lot of fragrances here, super versatile. This one is a great buy if you're looking for a vetiver fragrance that you can wear in any situation that will potentially pull you compliments and positive attention. This one is a stunner. Next up, a fragrance from Xerjoff, 40 Knots. Now this one is not necessarily a fragrance that you would immediately think of as a springtime fragrance. A lot of these are. A lot of these have, green in the bottles, or they have aquatic notes, watery feels to them that kind of give you that feeling of everything springing back to life, kind of channels spring. 40 Knots doesn't quite as much. Yes, there is a sea note in here, or a watery note, aquatic note, but not at all in the same way as something like this. There are also woods in here, green notes, sea salt, and actually, this fragrance a little bit reminds me of Enigma from Raja Parfum, or even Ombre Nuit from Dior. So when you hear that, you probably think, yeah, that doesn't sound like a spring fragrance, really. Something that's more sweet and almost resinous. And also, how does that even make sense if some of the notes in here are aquatic notes and sea salt? That doesn't make sense. And yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's how it comes across. Now, this one for me in spring is gonna be more of like an evening fragrance, night out fragrance, date kind of fragrance. That's when I would use it. This one, I wouldn't be using as much during the daytime, especially not when it's hot out. I'm gonna reach for something else in those situations. All right, last fragrance. And before I wanna talk about this last fragrance, I wanna reiterate that there are so many different scents that could have made this list, and tomorrow or day after it could be different. And also, I did not include discontinued fragrances here. I included fragrances that you can still find, at least moderately easily. So Gucci Pour Homme 2, that would have made this list had I included discontinued ones. And a lot of other fragrances probably would have too. All right, last fragrance, Un Jardin sur le Nil from Hermes. This one is completely unisex, and actually, really, I like it more when my wife wears it than me, because I think it just smells awesome on her. But I love it too. It's got mango, florals, sycamore, and grapefruit as some of the notes of the fragrance. This one right here, supposed to smell like a garden on the Nile. Well, I mean, that's what the name is, actually. So it's not like I'm hitting you with some deep underground information when I tell you that, but that's what it is. And that's what it smells like. It's just green and fresh, and has just these pops of different floral notes all the way through, lotus being one of the ones that people talk about the most. You have this green mango note right off the top that melts together with grapefruit and I believe tomato leaf. It's just an amazing fragrance. And of the entire line, the Jardin line from Hermes, this one is the one for me. I actually like all of them, honestly, but this one's the best. That one right there, gonna wrap up this list of 10 fragrances that I would keep for life from spring. 10 spring fragrances for life. I wanna thank all you guys and gals for hanging out with me today. Thanks for making it to the end of this video. You get a star for that, so there you go. And stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.